Africa hosts a more diverse people than anywhere else on the planet. However, poverty and food insecurity have become synonymous with the African continent, especially south of the Sahara. More than 1 billion people live in Africa, and over half of them live in poverty. 70% live in rural areas and depend on subsistence farming for food.
When we talk about smallholder agriculture farmers, we are talking about almost 70% of the rural population in Africa. And we are talking about people who farm less than 2 acres, and they produce about between 70 to 80% of the staple crops on the continent.
For these smallholder farmers, production disparities between seasons, persistent crop failures, and declining reliability of annual rainfall have resulted in regular and severe food shortages in the region. The Alliance for a Green Revolution in Africa, AGRA, was formed in 2006 with a mission to trigger a movement that will see Africa reach sustainable food sufficiency and lift millions of the continent's population out of poverty by the year 2020. Through value chain systems, the Alliance seeks to create a good environment for smallholder farmers to access inputs and technology for high-quality and high-yielding food crops. Under the Policy and Advocacy Program, AGRA works with African governments to enable sustainable agriculture targeted at smallholder farmers.
The policy program is all about looking at the policies which are actually supportive to smallholder producers, because the focus of the AGRA interventions to support its mission is to make Africa self-sufficient in food.
One of the leading advocacy initiatives is in Tanzania. AGRA is working with the Sokoine University of Agriculture, Department of Crop Science, to change seed policy to improve smallholder farmer access to improved seed varieties. Professor Susan Umsola is head of the Crop Science Department. She has been at the forefront calling for the change in law.
As breeders who are breeding varieties, we are breeding varieties, but those varieties were not reaching farmers. We found that the real problem is on the policies. In Tanzania, we had some years we had only these seed farms that belonged to government that were allowed to produce basic seed. So, and those seed farms were not adequate to produce. Were not equipped very much to produce all the seeds that is required.
When the seed policy is finally overhauled, 13 million smallholder farmers will directly access high-yielding and fast-maturing seed varieties. In Zambia, AGRA has taken a revolutionary charge advocating for equal land rights in poor rural areas, especially for women. Working with the Zambia Land Alliance and the local chiefs, AGRA has made it possible for women to acquire land for farming. Tangu Mwale from the Mafuta chiefdom owns land for the first time allocated to her by Chief Mafuta. Before the allocation, she had no source of income and depended on farmer labor at neighboring tobacco farms. The 8-hectare piece of land turned this former farmhand into an independent farmer, earning hundreds of thousands of Zambian kwacha. The trend has picked up in Zambia, directly improving the livelihoods of thousands of homes as more women start having income. AGRA's soil health program is pegged on equipping farmers with knowledge, skills, and modern technology that will increase the quality and quantity of their produce. Through the integrated soil fertility management technology, the soil health program works with implementing partners to increase fertilizer use and distribution and farmer trainings in best agronomic practices.
The soil health program is one of the key programs of AGRA, and the key objectives of this program is to address the problems that are related to low productivity of smallholder farmers. And we now operate in 13 countries, 8 of them in the Eastern and Southern Africa region, and 5 in the West Africa, both Anglophone and Francophone countries. We work with agro-dealers to provide inputs to farmers on credit and buy them back. And we use value chain approach to bring on board these private sector players. And that's what's leading to results that you can feel and touch.
The Ukamba Christian Community Services received a grant from AGRA to help support smallholder farmers in the semi-arid plains of eastern Kenya. In 2012, UCCS introduced a drought-resistant, high-yielding sorghum seed. Farmers were trained at a demo farm to till, space their crop, use fertilizer and chemical herbicides and pesticides. More than 10,000 farmers in Makueni have experienced increased incomes from the project.
Immediately I retired in 2005. I continued planting as usual, maize and beans. I remember when there was good rain, 2006, I sold maize worth 21,000 shillings. When the AGRA project came into the village, we joined and I went straight to plant sorghum. I remember the last harvest, I sold 10 bags and I harvested over 30,000 shillings. 30,000 shillings, I managed to put piped water into my house, which I did not imagine I will ever do.
Tulipanda cassava na ikuwa mzuri, likauka, hatukupata chochote na hatukurudia tena. Na tangu 011 tuliungana na USS, tulipanda sorghum. Nilipanda sorghum nikapata gunia 5. Nikauza nikanunua mbuzi 2. Tukiendelea na hao wa UCS walitufunza kupika pilau hiyo sorghum. Tunachanganya pilau na pigeon peas. Tukapika pilau ya hiyo sorghum. Tukaonelea hiyo ni chakula mzuri. Tukaendelea na kukula.
Hii kikundi yetu, wale members tuko hapo tumesaidika sana, kwa sababu tumeweza kupata mafunzo zaidi ya ukulima na pia tukaeneza pia kwa majirani, tukawa pia tunawasaidia venye watalima na kupanda ile mimea ambao inaweza stahili kwa hii area hii yetu.
In Mozambique, PASS has partnered with National Institute for Agricultural Research, IIAM, to develop a disease-tolerant cassava strain that matures faster and yields 3 times more tubers than the local indigenous breeds.
In Nyamialo, and from this farm, SAB Miller approached us and said that there was a cassava project together with DATCO in around 2010. And they were looking for, since we're a commercial farmer with a farm, they were looking for someone to multiply seed for them to distribute to the small-scale farmers in the Nampula province. We received our first cuttings from EIM, and we planted about 11 hectares. Of that 11 hectares, it was distributed between 4 different improved varieties, which had different characteristics. But the main thing was disease resistance to the main diseases: brown streak virus, brown streak disease, and mosaic leaf disease. Basically, we are doing about 2 million cuttings, which were of 20 centimeters, which we are distributing through IFDC to the farmers.
The Victoria Seed Company in Uganda was funded to develop disease-tolerant and drought-tolerant maize seed varieties. The program has grown to include more than 5,000 smallholder farmers growing high-value seed grain and 1 million more using the high-yielding variety.
So that time, when I've not yet entered the Victoria Seed, even paying school fees was hard on me. But right now, if as I entered, so I'm selling at 1,500, and that time I was selling at 400 per kilo. But now when this hybrid came, that's why I got too much profit because of the price. Bought 10 acres of the land this last month. Then I've built my commercial in the town here. This is now I'm going to roof. I'm waiting for another money which they are going to give me, then I roof it.
Over the last 7 years, PASS has supported more than 200 students in developing new and improved seed variety for maize, cassava, soybeans, and groundnuts, among other crops. To convert the increased yield for smallholder farmers into income, the Markets and Processing Program in AGRA comes in strategically to link the farmers to buyers who guarantee a steady and ready market for their produce at the end of every harvest season. In Uganda and Mozambique, AGRA funds organizations that support small and medium-sized enterprises to process farm produce, adding to the value chain. The Markets program has been especially successful with a growing number of poor farmers having income for the first time. This success story is replicated across the 18 sub-Saharan countries that AGRA has its programs running.
What is very important to note is before we intervened, the farmers, those who were farmers before, some of them have changed into traders. So they are able now to get a lot of money because they are able to buy from their fellow farmers. And that coverage has gone very down for the farmers, and it gives courage. Two, most of the farmers are able to educate their children. They get money from rice, then they pay school fees. The other thing which I have to note is some of the farmers used to stay in grass-thatched houses, but now they have built permanent houses. And this one actually is the truth. Because even one time, we went to buy rice from Agoro, that is in Kitgum district. We bought rice like today. The following day when we went, we found all the chicken was eaten, all the meat that was slaughtered was all taken, you see. So even their livelihoods have changed.
It is with the growing success that the need for organized grouping for farmers has become a necessity to give smallholder farmers a collective negotiating power for their welfare and better prices. FOSCA exists to support farmer-based organizations like cooperatives through training for management, improved governance, and membership drive. Working together is an integral part for smallholder farming success. Informed farmers working together ensures sustainability, growth, and expansion, and cushioning farmers against fluctuating input and market prices.
There is a lot of improvement in families and even in home states, because there is a lot of changes. Some of us have constructed some other houses, better ones. Others has installed water. There are so many things that the farmers can talk about when we talk of banana. We are happy because we could not reach the farmers before then, and we could not know where to start before AGRA funded us.
To conclude, AGRA seeks to work in an integrated way to address the constraints that smallholder farmers in Africa, are meeting. And when I'm talking about integrated, I'm talking about a set of interventions that will help the smallholder farmer to be able to increase their productivity and income and to improve their livelihood.